Hey, farm family, it is Kay. So glad to have you. So, have you ever thought about your farm life as a pie? Yep, it is. It's a pie with a whole bunch of pieces in it. And the trick to having an effective farm life is to somehow manage to get all of those pie pieces to work together so that we don't have all the innards gooping all over the place and falling all over the plate and looking disgusting and misshapen and having, some pieces of the pie. Have you ever had like somebody who cuts the piece of pie and one piece is like this big and the other piece is that big? And if you're the piece who gets the one that big, you kind of feel a little left out. And that's kind of the way it is in our lives, that we have these different pieces, and if we're giving too little attention to one of those pieces, then what happens is they start to get angry with us and we start to hear about it. So today we are going to do a little introduction to something called the Wheel of Life. The one that I've picked as a basis has 8 different pie pieces. So the first pie piece is spirituality. Now, I've been really thinking about how to communicate about spirituality with my farm family because, to be honest, we all view spirituality differently. Um, but I think basically it's that thing that creates wonder in you that you look at and you say, wow, I don't really understand this, but I know that it impacts me deep inside. Um, some of your spirituality can be your deepest values, your belief system, what it is that makes the world make sense to you. Then the second thing that we look at is a social life. So a social life, some people actually have those things called a social life where they go out and they do things with people just because it's fun. I know it sounds a little crazy. I actually engaged in a social life activity yesterday when I was at the poetry reading where the anthology was released for the Rhode Island Bards Poetry Anthology. And I gotta tell you, it was amazing. I loved being with all of these different people from different backgrounds who were united under one love, poetry. And hearing everybody's thoughts, hearing what they had created was amazing. And I encourage you to figure out how you could engage in that a little bit more than you do. Then we have the good old fashioned health. Now, I struggle with the physical health just because I don't exercise much. It's hard, especially since I'm in this consultant business. I spend a lot of time right here at my computer, but it's not just our physical health. It's also our emotional health. We have to be taking care of our mind and our emotions if we're going to be the best farmers that we can be and the best people we can be. Now this version that I use of the Wheel of Life uses the word career. And I'll be honest, I sat with that for a little bit, and I actually have amended it to be career and hobbies. Why do I do this? Well, because a career is not a permanent part of our lives. It's just not. There will be a point in time, Lord willing, where that will cease for us. And so if we only look at that career piece as a career, then when we come to retirement, either it's forced retirement or a chosen retirement, all of a sudden we're going to have a big wedge-shaped hole in our pie. We don't want that. We don't want a hole. We want a whole pie. So I say that we need to look at career and hobbies. No matter how fulfilling your career is, and let's be honest, like we're in farming because we love it. Nobody is in farming if they don't love it. It's too hard a job not to have some part of it that really drives you there. So what do we do in addition to that so that when our bodies get to the point where farming is not able to be done the way that we always did it, we have other things that we've already invested in that we care about that we can continue to do. So if you don't yet have a hobby, please start looking into one, and look into one that does not require a lot of physical capacity. Then we have the wedge for relationships. And you'll see that some of these areas will influence each other, or they're kind of like a Venn diagram where they link. So, for example, I was saying how I worked on my social life yesterday by going to the poetry event. But I also worked on my relationships because I went with my sister. Actually, she came to support me. Isn't that cool? And that's building those relationships that are more than just a social activity where you go and you have a good time for an hour or so and then you don't think about them for another like 6 months. These relationships, we need to have at least a couple that are super, super supportive for us, because you need those besties that you can just go and really rely on. The people who are there for you no matter what. Now we've got a few more. We've got finances. Oh, always my favorite. And farmers and finances, let's just say, it's a struggle, okay? There aren't a ton of farmers who feel like finances are easy for them. And there are lots of reasons for that. We're not going to go into all of them today. But I would say you need to look at two aspects of finances. So, of course, the first finance that you work on is your farm business. You also need to have in the back of your mind a sense of what you need to live off of, survive without your farm. I know that sounds a little ridiculous, but again, like I was saying earlier, if you get to the point where you're not farming, and we'll just say not farming the way you are today, maybe you decide you don't want to be full-time, you want to go part-time. Maybe you're deciding you're going to do seasonal instead of year-round. Like anytime you change, there are going to be other changes in your farm business. Your finances are hugely important because you need to know what it takes for you to do the basic things that you want to do. If you have a vacation every year planned, how much does it cost? What does it cost to keep your house running, your taxes, your electricity, all those kinds of things? You got to know that. Okay, then we have personal growth. So I'm a big personal growth junkie. I know that will come as a big surprise to you, but this is one of the reasons why I love mental health stuff. It's why I love journaling. It's why I love art and music, because I love things that just build capacity. They build knowledge, they build skills, they build understanding. That's personal growth. What is it that you can do every week or so to develop some part of yourself? It can be something valuable that will benefit your business. It can be something frivolous that just plain makes you feel good. And it builds our brain power as we're learning new skills. Helps get rid of the signs of things like dementia. So we want to be doing this. We want to be learning. We're designed to learn. The final piece of this pie is family. Now, some of us have got really complicated relationships with our family. Probably most of us have some complicated relationships with our family. And they're a little different than relationships because family can't choose them. They're just a part of who you are. So how we navigate our family is going to be really different for everybody. And how we navigate certain relationships within our family are going to be very different. So it's really important to take time and wrestle through how you want to be in your family. Who do you want to spend a lot of time with? Who do you only want to see on holidays? Who do you maybe want to just send birthday cards to? Who, or who do you need to have a complete cutoff with? Sometimes that happens. I don't generally recommend cutoffs, but from time to time, they are important. We've blown through the wheel of life. Spirituality, your social life, health, physical and mental and emotional, career and hobbies, relationships, finances, personal growth, and family. Wow. All right. I want you to take one area, your challenge, one area that you're going to do holding up two fingers, one area this week, you're going to do one thing to build one area. So we're just doing a one for one this week. Let me know what it is. Put it down below if you have an area that you really want to focus on over the next couple of weeks. Let me know. All right, guys, it's your time to grow.